Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to lean in, because what I'm about to say, it might shake you, it might wake you, but it's the truth. And truth doesn't whisper, it roars. See, everybody wants to live long, everybody talks about growing old with grace, but let me tell you something that most won't. Old age will be suffering if you don't know this truth. There's a cost to ignoring the call. There's a price to pay for drifting through life like time owes you something. Time doesn't owe you anything. You either build your foundation now or you'll crumble later. And when that later comes, it won't ask if you're ready. So if you've got ears to hear, then listen. If you've got breath in your lungs, then breathe deep, because what I'm about to share, it might just save your future. Discipline today prevents regret tomorrow. It's a truth that's not flashy, not always popular, but it is unshakable. Discipline is not about being perfect. It's not about never slipping, never faltering, never taking a break. Discipline is about consistency. It's about showing up. It's about making the hard choice today so that you don't have to live with the heavy burden of what if tomorrow. Every single day you wake up, you are given a currency that cannot be stored or saved: time. And with that time, you make choices. You can choose to invest in your future, or you can spend it feeding your comfort. But comfort today often breeds chaos tomorrow. It might feel good in the moment to hit snooze, to skip the workout, to avoid the difficult conversation, to put off learning, saving, growing. But that momentary relief is stacking bricks. And those bricks, they don't vanish. They build walls. Walls that will one day box you in. Regret doesn't come suddenly. It builds, it simmers. It shows up as that quiet, persistent voice when you're alone. It whispers through the silence, reminding you of what you didn't do, of what you could have done, of what you knew deep down but chose to ignore. And the cruel thing about regret, it only visits when the moment has already passed, when the choice is no longer yours, when the opportunity is long gone, and all that's left is reflection. Discipline is your defense against that kind of life. It is the long game. It's what separates the dreamer from the doer. The person who hopes things turn out okay from the person who ensures they do. And it's not about being naturally gifted or having some kind of superhuman willpower. It's about making the small, often unseen decisions that compound over time. You don't become healthy overnight, just like you don't fall into ruin in a single day, but you can make a decision today that moves you one step forward or one step backward. Think about your future self, not the version of you tomorrow or next week. Think 20, 30, 40 years from now. That version of you will either be grateful or resentful for how you live today. Will they thank you for the body you kept strong, for the mind you kept sharp, for the relationships you nurtured, for the habits you built? Or will they struggle, carrying the weight of every choice you didn't make? Will they suffer because you gave in to ease when you could have pushed forward? Discipline in your youth is a gift to your old age. Waking up early to move your body, to train your mind, to sharpen your skills, it's not punishment, it's protection. Learning how to manage your finances now rather than scrambling in your 60s is discipline. Choosing to read instead of scrolling, to call your family instead of numbing out, to speak truth instead of pleasing others. These are small acts of discipline that build a life with fewer regrets. But discipline isn't just about avoiding pain, it's also about unlocking peace. There is a kind of freedom that only comes from knowing you've done the work, that you didn't cut corners, that you didn't hide from responsibility, that when the storms came, you didn't have to panic because you had already laid the foundation. You had already built strength into your character. You had already shown yourself that you can be trusted with difficult things. It's easy to say, I'll do it later. Later feels like it belongs to us, like we'll always have more time, more energy, more opportunity. But later is a lie. Later is how dreams die. Later is how you wake up one day with a body you don't recognize, with a bank account that can't sustain you, with a mind full of frustration and fear. Later is where regret lives. Every moment of discipline is an act of rebellion against that regret. It's a message to your future self that says, I've got you. I'm thinking ahead. I'm not gonna let you down. And yes, it's hard. Yes, it takes sacrifice. But the pain of discipline is temporary. It fades. It transforms into strength, into resilience, into confidence. The pain of regret, that pain lingers. It doesn't go away when you sleep. It wakes up with you. It rides your shoulders, and it grows heavier as you grow older. When you see someone thriving in their later years, it's rarely an accident. It's the result of choices made when it would have been easier not to. It's the result of showing up when no one was watching, of saying no to shortcuts, of putting in the work when there was still time to make it count. Health is not a guarantee, it's a responsibility. We like to believe that health is something we're entitled to, something that will always be there unless something goes drastically wrong. But the truth is, your body doesn't take care of itself without your involvement. Your mind doesn't stay sharp unless you feed it the right fuel. Health is not something that just happens. It's something you have to earn. It's something you have to protect. Many people treat their health like a spare tire, ignored until there's an emergency. They wait until the doctor gives a warning, until the joints start aching, until the energy crashes, and suddenly health becomes a priority. But by then, you're no longer making moves from a place of strength. You're trying to undo damage that's already been done, and some damage can't be reversed. That's the danger of taking your health for granted. Every meal you eat, every hour you sleep or skip, every step you take or avoid is a vote for your future condition. The body keeps score. The decisions you make today, even the small ones, stack up over time. It's easy to shrug off that late-night junk food, to justify skipping a workout, to drown stress in alcohol or sugar. But none of that is free. There's a cost, and you might not feel it now, but you will feel it later. Responsibility means ownership. It means recognizing that no one is coming to save you. The government won't do it, your family can't do it for you. Even the best doctor in the world can only guide you. They can't walk the path for you. That's your job. Your body is the one vehicle you get for this life. You don't get a trade-in, you don't get a restart, and if you don't take care of it, it will break down. But taking responsibility for your health is not just about preventing disease, it's about living well, on. It's about having the energy to play with your kids or grandkids. It's about walking up a flight of stairs without feeling winded. It's about clarity of thought, emotional resilience, and waking up in the morning with the ability to face life head on. Health isn't just about avoiding death, it's about enhancing life. There's also a quiet kind of dignity in taking responsibility for your health. It shows respect for yourself, for the people who depend on you, and for the opportunities life gives you. You can't be your best in any area, career, relationships, dreams, if your health is falling apart. All the success in the world means nothing if you don't have the strength to enjoy it. It's not about perfection. It's not about being a fitness model or eating nothing but salad. It's about being intentional, choosing to move your body because you can, choosing to nourish yourself instead of numb yourself, choosing to rest, to breathe, to be mindful of what you allow into your system. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Purpose doesn't retire, people do. There's a dangerous myth in our society that says the meaning of life slows down when you reach a certain age, that after 65, after the job ends and the kids are grown, your only role is to sit back and fade into the background. But purpose doesn't know age. It doesn't clock out. It doesn't collect a pension. Purpose is the quiet fire that keeps your soul alive, no matter what your birth certificate says. When people lose a job, they often say, "I feel useless now." That's not because the job was their purpose, it's because it was tied to their identity. They mistook a role for a reason. But the truth is, your purpose is bigger than any title you hold or task you perform. It's not tied to your desk or your uniform or your paycheck. Purpose is deeper. It's rooted in what you give to the world and how you show up, in the energy you bring into your space. It lives in the value you create, not in the job you once had. Too many people stop living the day they stop working. They think retirement is the finish line when it should be the start of a new race. Without purpose, time becomes heavy. Days blur together, energy fades. That's not aging, that's stagnation. It's what happens when you don't replace productivity with meaning. But for the person who holds on to their sense of why, life continues to have color, conversations stay rich, curiosity stays alive, hope still has a home. Purpose is what keeps people vibrant into their 70s, 80s, even 90s. It's what drives someone to write a book at 83 or mentor young people long after their career has ended. It's what makes someone get up early to volunteer, to paint, to speak, to create. It's not about chasing legacy. It's about living fully. You don't stop being needed just because the world stops assigning you a schedule. You stop being needed when you stop showing up. Sometimes purpose shifts. Maybe it was once your business, your art, your leadership, and now it's your wisdom, your kindness, your experience. Maybe it's being the strong pillar of your family, the encourager in your community, the voice of reason in someone's storm. Maybe it's simply being present, truly present for those who need someone to care. Purpose evolves, but it never disappears. You have to fight for it, though. You have to wake up each day and ask yourself, what can I give? Because people who stop giving, stop growing. People who lose their sense of purpose lose their spark. And when that spark dies, it doesn't matter how healthy the body is. The soul begins to fade. Purpose isn't something you outgrow, it's something you grow into. It matures as you mature. It deepens with age, with experience, with scars and lessons and victories. When you understand that, you stop dreading the future. You stop fearing irrelevance. Because you realize that relevance has nothing to do with popularity and everything to do with contribution. Loneliness is the tax of neglected relationships. It doesn't show up all at once. It creeps in slowly, almost silently, like a shadow that grows longer with time. You don't notice it when you're busy, when life is full of motion, career, goals, distractions. But eventually, life slows down, the noise fades, and when the silence arrives, you begin to feel the weight of the connections you let slip away. Relationships don't end with a single act. Most of the time they dissolve through inaction. A text you meant to send, a call you kept putting off, a visit you said you'd make someday, then one day, someday is gone. And with it, the comfort, laughter, and presence of someone who once meant something to you. That's how loneliness begins, not from rejection, but from neglect. People often say they're too busy. They say they'll reconnect when things settle down. But life doesn't pause for reconnection. It keeps moving, and if you don't make the effort to water the relationships in your life, they wither. Just like a plant doesn't die because of one missed watering, relationships don't die in one moment. They die from being forgotten, from being taken for granted, from being put on the back burner for too long. As time passes, you may start to realize that the people who once reached out have stopped calling. The invites become less frequent, the conversations shorter, then comes the silence. Not because they stopped caring, but because they stopped feeling cared for. Relationships are living things. They require time, presence, and intention. If you ignore them long enough, they stop breathing. Loneliness in old age is not just about being physically alone. It's about emotional isolation, the feeling that no one truly sees you, no one truly knows you, and that kind of loneliness can be crushing. It robs you of energy, of joy, of purpose. It's not caused by age, it's caused by years of emotional withdrawal, years of being too caught up in personal pursuits to invest in the people who matter. You can have a house full of trophies, a closet full of accomplishments, and still feel empty if you don't have someone to share your life with. The moments that make life rich aren't the ones you achieve alone. They're the ones you experience with others. A victory is sweeter when it's celebrated together. A burden is lighter when it's shared. But if you reach the end of your life and look around and see no one left who really knows you, no one who stayed because you kept showing up, that's the tax. That's the price of neglect. The truth is, relationships don't maintain themselves. Love doesn't keep growing without care. Friendships don't deepen without effort. Family bonds don't strengthen without time. Every neglected relationship collects interest. And one day, that interest is due. And it comes in the form of loneliness. You either age with wisdom or decay with excuses. As time moves forward, we're faced with two choices. Either we use the years we gain to grow, to learn, and to develop into deeper, more insightful versions of ourselves, or we allow them to pass us by, filling our lives with reasons why we couldn't, shouldn't, or wouldn't change. Wisdom doesn't come with age, it's earned. It's a result of decisions made, lessons learned, and the willingness to confront the hard truths about yourself. Every year is a chance to get better, to evolve, to sharpen your mind and your character. But it's also a chance to make excuses. It's easy to blame the world for your stagnation, to point the finger at circumstances, the system, the people around you, and even your own limitations. But each excuse you make is like a stone placed in the path to growth, blocking you from the wisdom that could come from walking through hardship and learning from it. The truth is, excuses are comfort zones in disguise. They allow you to stay right where you are in a place where change feels too difficult, too risky. Excuses prevent you from taking responsibility for your actions and inactions. They give you permission to stay stuck in old patterns, to keep repeating the same mistakes without any real effort to change. The longer you make excuses, the harder it becomes to break free from them. And eventually that comfort zone becomes your cage. It becomes the reason you wake up one day, years down the line, and realize that you haven't learned anything new, you haven't made any progress, you've just gotten older. Wisdom, on the other hand, requires effort. It's not about sitting back and letting life pass you by. It's about making conscious choices to face challenges, to reflect on your mistakes, to keep learning even when it's uncomfortable. Wisdom is about accepting responsibility for your own growth and understanding that no matter how old you get, there is always room to improve. It's the difference between viewing life as something that happens to you and viewing life as something you can shape, mold, and influence with the right mindset and actions. As you age, you start to accumulate more experiences, both good and bad. And with each experience, you can either become bitter and cynical, or you can choose to learn from it. You can choose to take what you've gone through, analyze it, and use it to make better decisions moving forward. That's the essence of wisdom. It's not about being perfect, it's about becoming better. It's about shedding the weight of regret and replacing it with insight. But if you choose to let excuses dictate your life, then every setback becomes a reason not to move forward. Every failure is just a reminder of why you can't succeed. Every challenge becomes too big, too difficult, too inconvenient. And over time, these excuses start to define you. They keep you from stepping into the fullness of your potential. They keep you from realizing that your best years could be ahead of you, not behind you. You either age with wisdom, gaining strength and insight with each passing year, or you age with excuses, becoming smaller and more restricted by the very things that should have empowered you.